That's how long I'd been gone. 8 months surrounded by steel, salt, and silence. The Ardon Valor wasn't just a cargo ship, it was a floating world. You learn things out there, how to listen, how to think, how to wait. That morning, as we pulled into port, the fog peeled off the water like old skin. My boots hit the dock with a thud that felt final. The air was heavier than I remembered, duffel over one shoulder, a bag of wooden toys for Raya on the other, and tucked into my jacket. A letter I wrote to Malene halfway through the trip. Never sent. It ended with, "Can't wait to hold you again." That line aged poorly. The cab ride home was quiet. I hadn't told anyone I was coming back. Not the crew, not my wife. Especially not her. My plan? Simple. Ring the doorbell. See their faces light up. Sweep Malik into a hug before he could act too cool. Spin Raya around the living room until she laughed that high-pitched giggle that got me through the long night shifts. But that's not what I saw. As the cab turned onto Chestnut Lane, I leaned forward, frowning. A silver sedan was parked in front of our house. Brand new. It was decked out like a cliché, white balloons, ribbon on the mirrors, and a cheap plastic plate on the bumper that read, "Just Married." I blinked. Same red mailbox. Same hydrangeas. Same cracked garage window. No mistake. I stepped out, stunned, bag still in hand. My heart thudded like it didn't know what to do next. Then my phone buzzed. Malene. Not a call. A message. Short. Brutal. Casual. Almost. "Don't bother coming. The locks are changed. The kids don't want you. It's over." No greeting. No explanation. Just a verdict. Cold as the Atlantic I'd crossed. Twice. I stood there, duffel slipping from my arm, staring. Then my thumbs moved without thinking. "As you wish." And I meant it. Something in me shifted. Every dream I carried home, reunions, pancakes, pajamas, movies on the couch, turned to frost. You don't survive storms at sea by panicking. You study the clouds, track the current, prepare. This was a new storm. No rain, just silence. I didn't knock, didn't try the handle. She said the locks were changed. And whether they were or not didn't matter. She wanted me to believe it. She wanted me to walk away feeling small. But I wasn't going to walk away. I crossed the street and sat on the bench beneath the old dogwood tree, same one that shaded our neighborhood park. I watched the house. No movement, no curtain drawn. If she was inside, she wasn't looking. Maybe she thought I'd yell, break something, beg. But I've been trained for silence, and silence is where I think best. I pulled out my phone. One call. Not to a friend, not to the Valor's captain, to my attorney, Kasha Baines. She picked up on the first ring. "Sterling," she said, cool as steel. "I thought you weren't back till next week." Change of plans. There was a pause. Not hesitation, calculation. "Talk to me." So I did. The balloons. The car. The message. My gut. Kasha didn't gasp. She didn't comfort me. That's not what I hired her for. 2 years ago, she was my legal consultant in a Port Authority lawsuit. Ruthless, brilliant, unflinching. I remembered how the opposing counsel tried to rattle her in deposition. She handed him a lawsuit mid-sentence, filed it while he was still talking. When I finished, she asked, "Do you want her back?" I paused. "No," I said. "I want to win." There was that sound again, half smile, half teeth. "Good," she said. "Then let's begin." There's raw emotional clarity here. The narrator's pain isn't melodramatic. It's measured, calculated, and profoundly human. 2. Character voice. The narrator's voice is consistent and layered, both reflective and strategic. The internal monologue has the depth of someone who's lost a battle but is quietly setting up a war. 3. Details as memory triggers. Malik's trophy. the baseboard scrape, the missing chair. These elements serve as anchors, showing how memory and place intersect. 4. Dialogue with the children. The scenes with Malik and Raya are heartbreakingly restrained. You didn't need dramatic reunions, just tension, recognition, and a thread of hope. 5. Structural framing. It feels like a chapter of a novel or a screenplay monologue. The timestamps like 1520, 1525, etc. give it a documentary feel or a record of events being reviewed, subtle but effective for suspense. Suggestions for improvement. 1. Pacing in midsection, around 1750, 1850. The description of the house transformation is vivid, but some parts might benefit from slight trimming to avoid slowing the momentum. Ask, which details serve emotion or plot, and which might be just atmospheric? 2. Sentence rhythm. You use sentence fragments masterfully, but overuse can sometimes cause emotional dilution. Try varying the rhythm with occasional longer, more fluid sentences to punctuate the fragments. 3. Clarify stakes of Ellery compound development. You hint at the sinister nature of the plan, erasing the narrator from memory. Consider making this threat more explicit or symbolic. Is it a metaphorical colonization? A financial, legal endgame? 4. Ellery's pattern. The ending teases at something dark in Ellery's past. To truly hit hard, a specific, shocking detail from that background check on page 5 would heighten the stakes and end this segment with a cliffhanger punch. Optional additions, if expanding this. Flashback inserts with Malene, Gregory, or younger Malik, Raya could contrast the warmth of the past with the present coldness. Intercut scenes of the narrator alone at sea could underscore isolation and purpose, especially if this was a literal ship job, merchant marine, oil rig. A final beat at the end, something visual, symbolic, like the narrator walking past, the empty trophy shelf putting one item back and walking out. Mr. Ellery has been a source of support, he said, and while mistakes may have been made, they were not malicious. They were the actions of a mother doing her best under difficult circumstances. The judge didn't interrupt. She didn't nod, either. She simply stared, unmoved, flipping through the exhibits again. The Panama Papers, the Costa Rica shell filings, the wedding photos with no legal weight. Then she picked up the drawing once more. Her voice was calm when she finally spoke. Ms. Knox, do you understand why you're here today? Malene's lips parted. For a moment, I thought she might cry, but she didn't. She just nodded and said softly, Yes, Your Honor. The judge turned to me. Mr. Knox, you've requested temporary sole custody. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor. And you are willing to allow supervised visitation? I nodded. If recommended, yes. She paused, folding her hands. Then here is my ruling. The courtroom held its breath. Temporary sole custody is granted to Mr. Knox, effective immediately. Ms. Knox may have supervised visitation upon evaluation by a family services officer. Mr. Eller is to have no unsupervised contact with the children and is barred from acting in any educational, medical, or legal capacity involving them. There was no gasp from Malene, no outburst. Just a stillness, like the moment after a wave crashes. The quiet where you realize just how deep you've gone under. I didn't look at Ellery. I didn't need to. I knew what he looked like when he lost. Calm on the outside, wildfire on the inside. As we left the courtroom, Kasia didn't smile. Neither did I. Some victories aren't about celebration. They're about reclamation. Outside, the air was brisk, clean. I called the school, let them know I'd be picking up Raya and Malik, myself today. No paperwork needed anymore, no permissions, just a father doing what fathers are supposed to do. And that night, when Raya asked if we could watch the ocean documentary again, I said yes. We curled up together, a triangle of warmth and peace. No curated chaos, no performance, just the truth, finally quiet, and mine. We asked the court to recognize a natural transition, not punish the children for the fallout of adult choices. Your Honor, my lawyer began, these children deserve stability, support, and structure. The judge raised her hand. Is Mr. Ellery the biological father? No, Your Honor. Is he legally married to the mother? No, Your Honor. Then why is he listed on school forms and emergency contacts? My ex-wife's attorney hesitated. He acted under the assumption? No, the judge cut in. He acted without authority. There's a difference. Silence settled over the room. Then the judge turned to me. Mr. Knox, you've been quiet. Do you have anything to say before I make a temporary ruling? I stood. My voice didn't shake. I didn't come here for revenge. I came because my kids deserve something better than brunch dates and beach photos. They deserve someone who shows up, not just when it's fun, but when it's hard, when it's boring, when it's real. I spent 8 months at sea to give them a home. I came back to find it stolen, not physically, but spiritually. I looked straight at Malene. I'm not perfect. I've missed moments, but I've never stopped being their father, and I never will. Then I sat down. The judge didn't ask another question. She just looked at her notes and spoke. I've seen all kinds of custody disputes, ugly, tragic, emotional. This one is surgical, but I don't care about polish. I care about patterns. Mr. Ellery's pattern is troubling. The mother, while clearly under emotional strain, attempted to replace a father with a man who has no legal ties to these children. That is poor judgment. She adjusted her glasses. Effective immediately, full temporary custody is awarded to Mr. Sterling Knox. Visitation rights for the mother may be requested after a psychological evaluation. Mr. Ellery is to have no contact with the children without court approval. The room went still. You could hear a pin drop. Malene's mouth parted slightly like she forgot how to breathe. Her attorney scribbled frantically. Ellery stood, walked out, didn't look back. Kasia leaned over and whispered, "Checkmate." I didn't smile. Not yet. The judge left. The bailiff handed me the paperwork. I gathered my things. As I passed Malene, she looked up. Her voice was barely a whisper. You planned all this. I didn't turn. No, I said, you did. Then I walked out, custody order in hand, dignity intact, and a truth she could never rewrite. The old house sat untouched. I never returned, not once. It had stopped being a home long before the court said otherwise. It was just a shell. She didn't just remove me. She stripped the soul from it. So I let it go. I bought a smaller house, 1 story, 3 bedrooms, a porch with 2 chairs, actually used, a backyard big enough for a grill and a hammock. It was out by the marsh, where you could still hear frogs at night and boat horns in the distance. It wasn't much, but it was ours. Raya painted her room herself, crooked dolphins and a seahorse that looked more like a jelly bean. I didn't correct her. She called it her underwater kingdom, left glitter handprints on the wall. I let her. Malek, 14, taller now, voice cracking, didn't say much those first few days. He just helped, set up the grill, unpacked his books, carried boxes like it was his way of making peace. On the 3rd night, we sat outside roasting s'mores. He watched the fire for a long while. Then he said, "This place feels real." I nodded. That's the point. No cameras, no pretending, no Ellery. A slight smile. You saw that too, huh? I see everything now. He was quiet, then said, Mom said he left. Just packed up, back to Boston. I didn't flinch. That's his pattern. Think she's sad? Shocked, maybe. At what? That I came back and didn't beg. He thought about that. She said you were weak. I handed him another marshmallow stick. That's what people say when they can't understand quiet strength. He toasted that marshmallow with a little more intention. The house stayed bare for a while. No framed photos, no wedding portraits. Just clean walls and real moments. Raya noticed first. Why don't we have any pictures? We're still making the ones that matter, I told her, but I have lots in my head already. Then let's take one. That weekend, we used my old camera. Malik rolled his eyes but stood between us. Raya climbed on my shoulders with her dolphin drawing like a trophy. We laughed, a real one. We taped it above the fireplace. No frame, just tape. The first photo of our new life, not of what was, but of what was becoming. That night, as I washed dishes, Raya padded into the kitchen with her stuffed octopus. Daddy? Yeah? Will Mommy be okay? I dried my hands and knelt. Maybe, if she wants to be. She frowned. You still care about her? Yes. Why? Because I once loved her, and a part of me always will. That doesn't mean I trust her, and it doesn't mean she gets to stay in our lives the same way. She nodded. So, caring doesn't mean staying? Exactly, she whispered. I'm glad you came back. I never really left you. Later, Malik found me in the garage holding an old trophy Malene had tossed aside. She didn't throw this away because it was broken, he said. No, I replied. She threw it away because it reminded her of me. He nodded. She always wanted things to look perfect, even if she had to lie. Yeah, but you didn't believe her. Not deep down. After a long pause, he said, You're better than Ellery. He never played ball with me. Said it was a waste of time. It's never a waste if it connects you to someone. You always deserved better. He asked if we could build a basketball hoop. We did it the next day, just a post in the dirt, no cement, no net. But when he made that first shot, it echoed louder than anything I'd heard in months. The weeks passed quietly. No calls from Malene, no boyfriends, no drama. I knew she was somewhere, regrouping, rewriting the narrative. But I wasn't waiting. I was living. Evening walks. Dinners at the table. Malik's music in his room. Raya's knock-knock jokes that never quite landed. We weren't perfect, but we were real. I still have that message. The one she sent me. Don't bother coming. The locks are changed. The kids don't want you. It's over. I remember where I was. The taste of that betrayal, and I remember my reply. As you wish. She probably thought it was surrender. It wasn't. It was permission to rebuild, to reclaim the story, to end it on my terms. Because when someone tries to erase you, the most powerful thing you can do is stay steady, quiet, present. You don't have to scream, you just have to echo. One night, months after the ruling, I sat outside, coffee in hand, stars above. Malik's soft thumps on the basketball hoop. Raya climbed into the chair beside me, wrapped in a blanket. She leaned into me. I wrapped my arm around her. Do you remember what Mommy said when she texted you? She asked. Yes. She said, we didn't want you. I looked down. Did you ever say that? No. And Malik didn't either. I know. So why did she say it? Because when people feel powerless, they try to hurt others with what they love most. It makes them feel strong again. She nodded and handed me a drawing. Our new house. Just us. No one on the outside. I like this family better, she whispered. So do I. A few weeks later, a new message came. I'd like to talk. I'm sorry. I met her. Not for her sake. For mine. She looked smaller, worn. I wasn't happy, she said. And I started resenting you. When you left, I could finally breathe. But it wasn't real. It was just space. And I filled it with Quinn. You made your choice, I said. I did, and it was the wrong one. You broke their trust. I know, I miss them. You'll have to earn it back. And you? I'm not angry anymore. But I'm not waiting either. Do you hate me? No, I pity you. You traded something real for something shiny. And when the shine wore off, you were alone. I placed a folded custody schedule on the table. I won't keep them from you, but I'll protect them from the version of you that lies to feel strong. Thank you, she whispered. I left without looking back. Some chapters aren't meant to be rewritten. They're meant to end. Now the house is full, not of things, but of us. Burnt toast, card games, music, healing, and peace. Not because it's perfect, but because it's honest. Sometimes life gives you a storm just to show you what kind of sailor you are. Me? I didn't drown. I sailed straight through.